Hi, welcome to the end of Module 7, Physical Development. As we've seen in this module, the physical development of young children in the early years is just enormous, birth through 3 and even birth through 5. Some research says that physical development is really the window of all the other domains of the child because we can see it. I wanted to share with you a great visual of what this looks like. In proximal distal development, we learned that the body develops from the inner core to the outside extremities, with these being the very last things that develop. And I wanted to give you a quick overall. This is actually a picture of 2-year-olds that have gotten hold of a marker and have done a very little bit of scribbling. And you can tell just by the scribbles how tight those markers are. Not a lot of arm movement. The child is gripping that marker and just making some marks. This is a 2-year-old. As we move on in developing proximal distal development, we see that these are 2.5-year-olds. And you can see that there's lots more arm movement, lots more scribbling. It's not as tightly impacted, and children are just kind of freely drawing all over. These are 2.5-year-olds. We can move on to 3-year-olds, and 3-year-olds have developed some kind of control with their markers. Their markers, scribblings, now look like something that we would recognize as a shape, like circles. You can see too that the paper that we use for young children is also very large because their motor skills are not great, and they need large amounts of space in order to be able to work those wrists and fingers and arms. Let's move on to 4-year-olds, where we can now use smaller sheets of paper. This is actually a child that attempted to draw a pumpkin, as you can see, and it looks fairly like a jack-o'-lantern might look. Definitely has more detail than those shapes earlier. And finally, our 5-year-old who is moving along on the proximal distal development chain. This too also is a pumpkin. And this is a 5-year-old. And you can see definitely the motor control is definitely more refined. You can actually see that it looks like a pumpkin. You may notice that there was no discussion about children with physical disabilities in Module 7. We will be covering that with all the domains in our special needs module at the end of this session. If you have any questions or need clarification on anything in Module 7, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer. Thanks a lot.